Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Review, and today we're looking at Black Clover chapter 81, A Guy Like That. Very much a setup, kind of a cool-down-ish chapter from everything we've had so far, and very world-building-ish. Well, I am short on time, so we'll do part of this video now, and you will see halfway through this video it'll be different. Just bear with us. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this review. So, the story so far, after dealing with the underwater temple, getting the magic gem, giving it to the king, sorcerer emperor. I do that because there's a possibility it might not be him, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, after dealing with him, we find out that Asta, he's been inflicted by a curse type of magic to do with the demon side of things, and then needs something special to heal him, otherwise he can't use his arms again. So this sets up this chapter. So, point number one, a new arc. So, the next morning from the proclamation of never giving up last chapter, we see a cheery Asta just come into the hall to find out that nobody's there but Yami saying, I don't know where everybody is. What we find out though is secretly, unbeknownst to at this time Yami and Asta, the rest of the crew have been going on a mission, all separate, going in different situations, different scenarios to find a cure for Asta's problem, which is much respect to them, because that tells them how much they respect him, how much they feel for Asta. Point number one, a new beginning of a journey, a new arc, a new story. Let's see where it goes. Point number two, it's a mesh of a few different things. So there's a section where they talk about the reference to the actual title of the chapter, A Guy Like That, and it's kind of the idea is, who would have thought that we would help a guy like that? The guy like that being Asta, a person who's lowborn, was no magic, that kind of thing. But then they explain the idea behind a guy like that is, even though he doesn't have all those, he's still someone that can motivate someone because he tries so hard. He's the first to jump into fight. He's the first to help other people. So I know it's very, cliche, and it's very, shonen main character tropes, and there's a lot of never give up situation, the whole John Cena thing. We're not gonna go there, but I like the fact that he's still able to do something. It's very early in the story. It's only 81st chapter. The fact that he's influential is important, because that's something you'd need to be a sorcerer emperor. So that I found was cool. Point number two, motivating others and being a guy like that. Point number three, where everybody else is. Now, in honesty, if I had longer time, I would separate these and discuss these in a bit more detail. But the other thing to bear in mind is we don't have as much information about what's going on. But let's get into it. So, Magnus Wing and Luck Voltaire have basically gone to the Wastelands, to a dungeon. We know that's going to be cool, because the last time we went to a dungeon, crazy stuff happened. There was a fight with the Diamond Kingdom. We found a sylph. So is it possible they could find sort of sylph type of character, an elemental? Quite possible, but in a wasteland, the most likely one it's going to be is probably the Earth sylph, and I don't see any of them being that person. Now, unless one of the other members from one of the other orders is there, that would make that interesting. Now, the next part was okay, but I found it a little bit funny that Charmy and another Charmy, which is effectively grey, is going to look for organic substances that can heal the curse. So that might be interesting, but I think that's in there for kind of jokes. Now this one I like because it's to do with the library. So Gouch and Gordon being the guy that basically looks like Marilyn Manson, but the German version, basically are in the library looking for curses. The thing I like about these 3 points in particular, or these 3 areas, is number one, it world builds. That's the first thing. Number two, it gives us different scenarios and different contents that we can deal with. Like, for example, a lot of what you see in like this manga, or many manga in general, is one scene, one focus situation, and then you find bits and bats and people dealing with fights and wars. You get that. But this, I like the fact that they're going to be dealing with it in different ways. So you're going to have the whole dungeon situation, then you're going to have your whole, organic food situation, and you're going to have your whole library situation. What this also does, especially from a library point of view, is just gives us a plot point for something to use in the future. It's like, oh yeah, we were looking for curses, but we also found this by reading up on this. It's additional knowledge that they can attain by chance, just by being in that location. So I like that. Moving on to point number 4, a separate point which I found really interesting. Let's get into it. So point number 4 was interesting because there's two things to it. Number one was the fact that both Vanessa's already gone somewhere, and Novella were looking to go places. So I found that interesting because they're looking to go by themselves somewhere. So Vanessa ends up going to, I believe, her hometown. I'm just going to actually get up the name of the kingdom. So it's a separate kingdom, like Clover Kingdom. And oh my god, when she gets there and she opens that door, and all the, it's like, you know, the ravens come out and stuff like that. That was brilliant. That was really something. I'm just going to find you its name. Mid-review, look at me. How unprepared am I? So, the Witch's Kingdom. So that's, she calls herself the greatest, you know, witch or genius since the founding of the Witch's Kingdom. But I like the fact that they're bringing witches into it. We got mages, we have witches, we could have augurs, we could have everything, we could have demons. The possibilities for a magic manga is endless, which is why I love this stuff. I love the creativity when it is creative and all the different types of magic you can have. So that's point number 4. She's returning to somewhere, but when those doors open and she gets involved in, can mean a lot of different things. Bearing in mind it was something dark that caused that damage. So a hex or a curse from a witch is quite possibly going to be the counterbalance for it. But sometimes you must give to receive. A sacrifice needs to be done. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's interesting. Point number 4. Let's speculate about other things now in point number 5 while I've still got time. So, point number 5, speculation time. I apologize again, I keep mentioning time. I'm really short on it. So, apologies. Let's get this review done. You'll probably find that this will get uploaded when I'm back from wherever I need to go in the next 10 minutes, but bear with us. Anyway, speculation time. Number 1. Where is Novella going? Novella, we don't know where she's going. We know everyone else has gone to certain places and some of them have gone alone, aka Vanessa, i.e. Vanessa, you could say. So that's one. Is she going to go home? So there's a chance she could go home, and maybe there's a healer at home that may or may not help her. Knowing how her brother is, or sister as well, actually, they all, apologies about the language, and I don't see them helping, but it's possible that they may be thinking of the grander strength of Clover Kingdom and they might help. So that's number 1. Number 2, she might go to see Mimosa. Mimosa is known as a healer. She may have something or may know of something in that family that can help, especially someone that's been dealing with Fuego or Fuego. They may know something that we don't at the moment. That is interesting. The other piece to bear in mind is why Yami's allowing all this in the first place, because he even says if they put this much effort into the normal jobs, we'd actually do a lot better. And it's true, but it shows how much of an impact Asta has. I said Natsu there, so ignore me, fairy tale mode. Anyway, so that was quite cool, the fact that he's allowing that. So that means for someone like this, a rookie who's only really been with them for a year, they consider him or they like him that much that they want to go this far for him. The whole team, everyone's getting involved. I like that. Yami obviously knew all along, which is why he's allowed all that, but I like how sharp he is for a guy who meant to be a brute. He's actually quite interesting. Anyway, a lot of talking points there, a lot of things to consider. I wonder what's going to happen next. This is going to be an amazing arc. For some reason, I'm excited about this arc. Maybe not as excited about the next chapter of World Trigger, but we'll not get into that in this one. Brilliant chapter, brilliant setup, world building chapter. I look forward to what happens next week. Anyway, it's 20 to 7. I've got to be somewhere for 7. So this, I'll cut it short. Apologies about it, it's a bit rushed. I'll render it. It'll be out around about 8:45, 9 o'clock ish. So check it out then. Until then,